How you doing? My name is John Colquitt. I work for Alabama FFA, and I got a guest person here with me that's going to help me work through the process of a young person starting out in extemporaneous speaking, to help go through that, to know, help young people learn how to prepare, what they need to go through, because it's a bit overwhelming, as you know. We're going to go through some things here, and these are some general things that I always go through with young people if they're going to be preparing for extemporaneous speaking. First of all, it requires consistent early preparation. I typically have my students on a plan to go through this in such a way where they would practice and do speeches 2 or 3 times a week. More or less, it's according to the student, but I think it's important to do that. Also, looking at these issues, once you know what, have identified a lot of the issues, that kind of thing, you also need to have a coaching class. I think the ag teacher doesn't have time during the day to do that. This is a great contest to utilize during the day. You can practice it when they have their ag classes, and that will enable them to get the experience to get more competitive. Also, I think it's important to watch former speakers. We have so many online now. You can see their habits, how they present themselves, and start mimicking some of the things that they do. Also, as you watch former speakers online, also video yourself. I think it's important to do that because, Riley, you'll be your own biggest critic. Most of the young people are like that. So we've gone over that part in the planning stages. Okay, tell me, if you will, relate what the biggest problem is we talked about that you have.
The biggest problem for me would probably be just like simplifying my materials and being able to look at like all the sources and say, okay, these are going to be my best sources. This is where I should get my information from. And basically like keep it simple, stupid. Like just be able to get materials necessary and not overload myself with a bunch of tiny details when the person that I'm talking to might not even know as much about the topic as I think that they do.
Well, I think that is a problem that a lot of young people, if they haven't done it before, in putting those materials together, to me, you have to think about it. Find those hot topic issues. There are trends and cycles that go through this, like they do in agriculture. There's a hot topic now that won't be 2 or 3 years from now. Maybe we've resolved it, whatever it may be. But find out what those things are, because they're going to be utilized as topics. And then put the materials together to fit those hot topics. And the materials are online that you can have. The rules and regulations are there for that. But remember that you are going to be talking to people, and we talked about this earlier. You think about them being experts, and you're not going to know enough to be able to talk to them. Don't even look at it that way. Look at it in the way that you're going to be explaining something brand new to people for the first time. So you can go back through that. I think that's important to do. To be able to be brief with it. It's 4 to 6 minutes. Recommendations have been made. You do it like a story. You have an introduction, of course, with a hook, something to capture their attention. And what was your subject? We talked about that earlier.
We talked about the New World screwworm.
Okay, the screwworm, we talked about that earlier. And how can you hook them with that and how it impacts the audience that's sitting there and the judges that are sitting there. So do it that way. And there are ways you can go about doing that. Then talk about why it's an issue for everyone. Also, explore that problem. The top 2 or 3 most important issues as it relates to that general topic that you've been given and how it affects the average person. So remember that. And then a resolution at the end where you put it together and you see where those that have an impact on it, how they plan to resolve it. And then that will enable you in turn to come up with a solution at the end, because if we don't come up with any solution at all, it's in bad, you're in bad shape on it. Also, ask yourself the right questions as you go through this. Think about these things every time you go through it, and condense that outline. Get it to big bullet point areas where you've got point 1, point 2, point 3. Most of the time, it will have 2 to 3 points in a 4 to 6 minute speech. That's what you can do, and then write down your argument, what you're going to say here, here, and here. And then move on to the next thing, and then go here, here, and here. Your big point, your 2 to 3 things underneath there, your arguments, what you're trying to convey to your audience, and do that in point 3. And then you come to the conclusion. Don't ever have more than 3 points, because you'll run out of time if you do that. You have to prepare as it says here, advice has been given to me that leaves you with roughly 5 minutes. If you prepare roughly a minute to 90 seconds for each main point, you can go over a tad and still be within the time limit, but you have to practice that time. It's one of those things that you have to go through the mental process, I think, of going through a contest-like environment, so you get accustomed to having a time in your head where you can do that. And I've had so many extemp speakers to do this. We had one almost every year, and they would get better and better as time went on and going through that. So Riley, remember to keep it simple. When you've got your topic that you feel most comfortable with, we may address that later, but get those materials together on those big, hot button issue topics right now, like the one you mentioned, something relating to the environment, something relating to the economy. There are a lot of different new trends in technology. Whatever those newest trends are, tractors driving themselves now that everyone's reacting to. Those are the kinds of things that they're going to be topics that you'll see in contests at district, state, national level. And go back through those competitions and see what they talked about. Some of those things will pop up again, but try to get those cutting edge things and getting the right material. You were afraid, and you can relate to this, you're afraid of not having the right material, right? And going in there and then you don't know what to do. I understand that. But as I told you, make sure you pick a topic, hopefully that you do know something about and have some material on. So we're going to conclude it there. If you have any questions about that, my name is John Colquitt. I'm on the Alabama FFA website. Riley's one of the district officers that we have in the Central District, and she's doing this, looking forward to her first competition in it. And I hope all of this will help. And between now and April, if you do it several times a week, I can guarantee you, as smart as you are, you will come up with a system that works best for you, because the same system doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't. And so my two sons that did this, they had a different way of looking at it, but it all boiled down to the same thing. But it's gotta fit your personality. So we appreciate you being with us. Get in touch with me online. It's easy to do. I'm on the Alabama FFA website. You can find it on the contact information there. I'd love to hear from you if you need some assistance with this. Thank you.